unfolded. But speaking of folding, the NFL trade deadline has come and gone, guys. Last Tuesday was the NFL trade deadline. There was a lot of surprising moves and a lot of moves that made a lot of teams a hell of a lot better. A hell of a lot better. Some of those teams are listed here on the graphic, but some teams made season-changing trades. So, guys, when we look across what happened this NFL trade deadline, who do you guys think are winners of this trade deadline day back on November 5th? Who was the biggest winner? Now, there are 5 teams that I think we could definitely put up there as winners, right? Teams that have definitely made their cases for some of the best moves in the NFL. One of which was the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs traded for DeAndre Hopkins, right? D-Hop went from a bad team where he was not really showing out, had like 28 yards per game, right? He was just, people wrote him off, washed up, not him anymore, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Since the trade, he has doubled his output, went from 20 yards per game to 60 yards per game. Catching the ball, right? He had 150 some odd catches in those games with the Tennessee Titans. So far, he is up to 80, right? He is balling out, right? And also on the flip side of that coin, most of the players on the Kansas City Chiefs on the roster already has a Super Bowl ring. D-Hop does not. This 100% helps the Chiefs even more to be even more hungry or to win that third Super Bowl ring in a row. Also, he is one of the highest IQ football receivers in the NFL. He is just very, very smart out there on the field. So the Chiefs traded for D-Hop, another team that got instantly better with their trade, right, was when the Lions traded for Jadarius Smith from the Cleveland Browns. The Lions needed that edge rusher to complete the team yet again. Plus, they needed a little bit more depth for seasons beyond in 2025, 2026, etc. This adds all of that. He is a third down closer. He pressures the quarterback, and that grit attitude that every Detroit Lions has, he seems to have that as well. Every indication that I have read saying he is the perfect fit for the Detroit Lions, and I think he is as well. And of course, the Buffalo Bills, prior to the trade deadline, Amari Cooper has played one game for them and missed one game, but the Buffalo Bills traded for Amari Cooper, right? Like we were just talking about. One of the biggest question marks for the Buffalo Bills this season was the wide receiver room, right? We don't know what they're going to do. This instantly makes that wide receiver room better and more dangerous and more underrated, undervalued, right? Because when you look at this Buffalo Bills team, they're very much slept on. Guys, they've lost 2 games. And Josh Allen is being very careful with the ball. Only has 2 interceptions on the season. He should start opening that up a little bit, and we might be seeing slinging Josh Allen yet again, and this could be even better, right? And then, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers. We sat here on the live on Tuesday. Started the live. Not much was happening. The Pittsburgh Steelers say, hold my beer. Insert Preston Smith. Insert Mike Williams. The Pittsburgh Steelers made 2 huge trades, one of the best one being of which was bringing Mike Williams in there, right? The Steelers all season long have been trying to add that wide receiver. They missed out on Brandon Ayuk. They missed out on Devontae Adams and countless others, right? They finally land Mike Williams. Since they traded Deontay Johnson, they've been looking for that guy, and Mike Williams brings that up. Mike Williams gives them a chance to open up the field a little bit more. Teams playing the Steelers can no longer double team George Pickens or put 8 in the box to try to stop Najee Harris, because Mike Williams will be that X factor underlying guy. This also opens everything up for Van Jefferson. If you guys do not have picked up Van Jefferson on the fantasy roster, you should probably pick him up as your wide receiver slot tight end person, right? He's going to be great right there. And of course, the Washington Commanders traded for Marshawn Lattimore as well. Lattimore was a huge steal, still has a lot of life on his career, and he is perfect for this old-headed defense. He is injured right now with the hamstring injury, so we don't know how that's going to play out. But those are my top 5 teams that made trades before this trade deadline. So guys, let me jump to you guys in the comments. Who do you guys, of those 5 teams, who do you think made the best move this trade deadline? Was it the Kansas City Chiefs trading for DeAndre Hopkins? Was it the Detroit Lions trading for Jadarius Smith? Was it the Buffalo Bills trading for Amari Cooper? Was it the Pittsburgh Steelers trading for Mike Williams and Preston Smith? Or was it the Washington Commanders trading for Marshawn Lattimore? So on the surface, I'm saying that the Pittsburgh Steelers made the best trades. They needed a receiver, and they got the receiver. But I'm questioning the Preston Smith thing. Why would you go out and get Preston Smith, right? You already have Highsmith, and you already have T.J. Watt. How are you going to get them on the field at the same time? If they can get all 3 of them on the field at the same time, awesome. Look out, hold my beer. But slow it down, baby. But depth is depth, right? Depth is depth, and they did do better. So I am going to eliminate the Pittsburgh Steelers right there because I thought they were already good on the defensive side of the ball. Excuse me. Offense was improving. Yes, Mike Williams is a nice addition. Preston Smith is a nice addition, but not game-changing. There are 2 other teams out there that I think are game-changing moves right here, and one of them is the Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills adding Amari Cooper is season-changing. It changes the whole dynamic of the receiver room. Undervalued, overrated, a lot of what-ifs, right? You bring in Amari Cooper, that instantly makes them better. That instantly makes the running game open up. That instantly opens up the tight end game. That instantly makes their whole offense that much more dynamic. Makes that season changing. Also, on the other side of the coin, I think the Kansas City Chiefs trading for DeAndre Hopkins, right? D-Hop. The Kansas City Chiefs are out there starting running back, number 1 receiver, number 2 receiver, number 3 receiver. They added D-Hop. He has instantly fit in. Right? Instantly fit in and instantly found the end zone, 3 times? D-Hop is doing their thing. So of those 5 teams, guys, the Chiefs, Lions, Bills, Steelers, and Commanders, who won the trade deadline? Who won it? It's the Detroit Lions. It is the Detroit Lions. Honestly. They are hungry. This makes them even more hungrier. They needed the edge rusher. They went out and got their edge rusher, and this does make them a Super Bowl caliber team. This move makes them a Super Bowl caliber team. So, guys, let me ask you this question. Who won the trade deadline? That's the question that we need to answer. Who won the trade deadline? My man John is in the chat, says, what's good, y'all? John's a Pigskin Pundit. Guys, be like John and click on the subscription button below and become a Pigskin Pundit. Get yourself some free merch, free entry into the weekly NFL Pick'ems, and, of course, the after-hour show and State of the Unions and all this other stuff. Speaking of which, John, you won the NFL 9-week NFL Pick'em. Be sure to check your email and give me that information so we can get you out your gear, my man. Get you out your gear. Derek says, Buffalo, they paid less than $1 million. So John is saying that the Buffalo Bills won the trade deadline, bringing in Amari Cooper. They definitely season changing, right? Puts them in Super Bowl conversations 100%, making Mark D look like a freaking genius, right? Derek also says it was an impressive trade deadline. A lot of names moved, which is weird, right? Because that is the one thing unique about the NFL, Derek, is that there's usually not a lot of in-season trades, right? There's not a lot of in-season moving around. Unlike baseball, unlike basketball, hockey, whatever, right? I mean, in baseball, you go out there, you hit the ball, you feel the ball. There's not a lot of learning, a lot of transition, right? NBA, at the end of the day, you shoot the ball, you rebound the ball. Yes, there's some offense, but there's really not a lot to learn. On the NFL, though, yes, you just run routes. Yes, you just catch the ball, right? But there's a lot more into it, right? There's timing. There's how you run your routes. There's how you do this. There's how you do that, right? We can be like Hoffy and call your pants your car keys. And then, like, when I hear that, I'm like, let me go grab my car keys, not my car key. Like, come on. Like, there's a lot of the NFL is totally different, and there's usually not a lot of moves, and this was definitely surprising. A lot of what we had, DeAndre Adams, D-Hop, Amari Cooper, Mike Williams, just 4 receivers alone. Oh, and Deontay Johnson. There's 5 receivers alone that just moved. That is huge, right? That is huge. John says, I didn't want to be a homer by saying the Lions, but John, I think you're right, though. I think the Lions did do the best during this trade deadline. We spotted the need back in week 5 when Hutchinson went down with that broken leg, right? And they addressed it. Slowly but surely, they addressed it. And finally, people can breathe a sigh of relief. Like, hey, you know what? They did their thing. But I didn't want to be a homer either, John. But honestly, D-Hop to the Kansas City Chiefs. That's dangerous, right? That is kind of like, oh, schnazzle pizzles. I don't even know that's a word, but that is a word. I do like the hop from the Chiefs as well. James Frank says Hopkins will do better than Amari Cooper. And better stat-wise, James, or better overall, like production-wise? Because I think Amari Cooper helps the Buffalo Bills more because Josh Allen doesn't have to be as careful anymore, right? He can kind of put the ball up and you go get it, right? I trust that you will go get it. With that being said, it opens up the tight end game more, right? Opens up the running game more, puts a little bit less pressure on that defense. D-Hop does do all that thing as well. Opens up Travis Kelce, opens up the rushing game, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But on the flip side, the Kansas City Chiefs were still able to do that, right? They were still able to get the ball to Travis Kelce. The rushing game has been pretty dominant this season. But, D-Hop does add that different element. I'm just curious of what you think. Like, I think Cooper will be better in the end. But you think D-Hop, you are, right? Derek says, out of the receivers moved, who has the most yards? I don't know. It wasn't D-Hop for sure because he only had like 200 yards. I don't think it was Deontay Johnson either because he was injured most of the season. Honestly, it probably would have had to been Devontae Adams because he had the couple games over 100 yards, I think it was. So I would say Devontae Adams, but I don't know the stats in front of me, Derek. So sorry. But if I would have to go with my gut feeling, it would have to be between Amari Cooper and Devontae Adams. And I'll lean more toward Devontae Adams because he was obviously the number 1 guy in Las Vegas. James says, I think it'll be a down year for Amari Cooper, but the Buffalo Bills should try to bring him back next season. I think Hopkins does better both in stats and production. So this is the problem with Amari Cooper, James. You being a Browns fan, you should know this, right? Amari Cooper gets counted out for a lot, right? The Dallas Cowboys gave Amari Cooper away for a 5th-round draft pick to the Cleveland Browns. A couple years later, 4 years later to be exact, he was the highest paid receiver in the NFL. This offseason, he was threatening to hold out because he wanted a reworked deal. The Browns were like, okay, here's $5 extra million guaranteed dollars, go about your way. Amari Cooper still thinks he's a top tier quarterback in the NFL, and he should be paid like that. I don't know if the Buffalo Bills have the salary cap room to be able to do that. I don't know what the cap looks for the Buffalo Bills off the top of my head, but I feel like they should look beyond Amari Cooper. They should look beyond Amari Cooper and be like, you know what? We gave up a 3rd-round pick for him. He got us to the Super Bowl. Let's go about our way. I think he'll be a one and done. DeAndre Hopkins, however, when Rashid Rice comes back, right? When Juju comes back, which is aging, right? When Hollywood Brown comes back, which is potentially still in the prime of his career, D-Hop would be a number 3, if not number 4 receiver on the Kansas City Chiefs. Does he want to do that? Does he want to ring chase at this particular point? And I think he does. I think he wants to, I feel that he is loyal to teams. Like we saw that with the remember of the Titans dance that like he did. And I think he will be happy to stay in Kansas City for a hefty pay cut, honestly. So I do think they do bring him back. John says Cooper helped the Bills more than D-Hop helps the Chiefs, but still nice addition on both. D-Hop has definitely helped Travis Kelce, that is for sure, and confidence of Patrick Mahomes. But I think you're right. I think that Amari Cooper does ultimately help the Kansas City Chiefs a little bit more. I forgot about Mingo, right? Jonathan Mingo was traded to the Dallas Cowboys. So yeah, he probably has the most yardage, which was stupid, right? But yeah. John says Justin Jefferson. We were talking about trading receivers. Thank you, John, for clearing that up. And James says, I'm not talking down on him either. Just think he has a down year. And a down year for Amari Cooper, still 900 to 1,000 yards. So let's not get